What's up, guys? We are back with another video, and I'm sure as many of you guys know, March Madness is coming up very soon from actually the day I'm filming this. We're only 7 days away. We are a week away. I'm filming this on a Sunday, of course. Well, actually, Selection Sunday's a week away. So, do what you want with that. Brackets start in 7 days, so be ready for this to come out after we do these conference predictions, which is a series we actually started last year, which, not gonna lie to you guys, it went really bad. We did Big Ten conference predictions. I'm not sure what we ended up with record-wise, but I'm pretty sure we missed the first 8 games. So that's on me. So I decided to switch ways. We're gonna go Big East today. So I thought this would be a fun one. Let's get into it. All right, now first matchup. We're gonna go with the 8 versus the 9. I believe Xavier's the 9, Butler's the 8 seed. So let's just take a little dive into this. I'm sure many guys might know Quincy Olivari is the best actually scorer in the Big East. He averages 19.5 points per game, 3.2 3-pointers, and 4.6 free throws. So definitely Xavier's got a great talent right there, but Butler actually averages 1 more point higher than Xavier. So kind of tough to figure out. It just shows, I think, Butler's a little more of a balanced squad, I think. But Xavier, I think, has more size because Xavier actually has almost 100 more rebounds on the season. That is a big margin for me because rebounds are huge. I don't know how you guys view, like, when you look to pick a team to win a game. But I think rebounds are big. If a team has a size advantage, I think it's going to be tough for the lower team to go at it. But on Butler's side of things, they're pretty solid on defense. Posh Alexander, great defenseman. He averages 2 steals a game. But Xavier, they know how to get their fouls, so Butler's got to be very careful because Xavier is possibly the best free throw shooting team in at least the Big East. So based off that, I think I'm gonna go with the size advantage with Xavier. And I'm gonna take him over Butler. You know, Butler could definitely splash in some threes, but I'm gonna go with Quincy. I'm gonna take the talent from Quincy. He's gonna be able to lead his team to the second round against UConn. All right, next game here we got the 7 versus the 10. Providence is the 7 seed this year, while Georgetown is the 10. Now we know these two, they feel like possibly the biggest rivalry in the Big East. So you really cannot ever it won't matter who's on either team's roster. You know it's going to be a feisty battle. But looking into it, we know Providence, they've been doing pretty good this year. Definitely some might have had a higher expectation from them, but they have dealt with some injuries. So looking at them, I don't believe they're as great of a 3-point shooting team. I don't think they shoot as much, but they definitely got some size, I believe. Georgetown, on the other hand, it's kind of tough. They don't have too much going for them. They can pass the ball well, though. I like to see that for sure. That's a great thing, but I think Providence definitely has the size advantage for rebounding and just working around in the paint, which can be big. But Georgetown definitely, we know they'll bring their A game anytime they play Providence. So you got to bring that into hand. It's kind of tough to think because you know these conference tourneys, they really will have unexpected upsets because it's March at this point. So you really don't know what's gonna happen at all. Providence is fighting for a possible spot in the tourney, and if they want to make the tourney, let me tell you, they're gonna have to at least win 1 game in the Big East tournament. It's a tough one. You know Georgetown just wants to stop Providence and, you know, take them down with them. If we're not making the tourney, you guys aren't either. I'm going to take Providence. So I'm going to take Providence. I'm going to trust them. They do pretty solid 2-point shooting, and I think I'm going to trust them to just kind of control the game. They're a smart team, smart squad. They've been in the tournament last year. They got experience. So I'll take them. Move on to second round. They'll be facing Creighton, I believe. Okay, next game here, we got the 11 versus 6. The last game in the first round. Even though we do already know one of our second round matchups because Seton Hall and St. John's will be playing each other. But we got Villanova, 6 seed. DePaul is the 11th. So looking at these squads right now, they are the 2 lowest average scoring teams in the Big East. And Villanova is coming off a really rough game. They did happen to bounce back, though. They somehow managed to only lose by 2 to Creighton. I don't know what happened that game. I don't like Creighton personally, so I think they're just kind of being overhyped. So them being down 30-8, that was really putting my hopes down for them. But they somehow managed to make it a 2-point game, so you got to give them respect for that. They got heart. But they averaged 71.1 points per game, while DePaul, they only averaged 65. Which 65, that's really pushing some bad numbers there. But DePaul, 100%, they got a better defense. 100%, they got maybe a top 3 defense in the Big East. They got the most steals per game, and possibly the most blocks per game. I forget, but they actually are pretty solid considering that. But that's pretty much all they got going. I mean, but if they can stop their defense, or if their defense can stop Villanova's offense, kind of like how Creighton did, we know Villanova literally can't do anything because they were down 30-8. I don't know how that game managed to get close, but DePaul definitely doesn't have much going for them. But I really would not be surprised if we saw an upset here. It just feels like it'd be like not an obvious upset, obviously, because it's DePaul. You know, they're bad. They're just bad, but just because like people be thinking Villanova is really on a rocky road right now. But I'm gonna trust Villanova. I'm gonna take them. Dixon's just gonna hopefully take over. Knowing these predictions, I'm probably 0 for 3 right now, but we'll see what happens. Okay, second round here. We got UConn versus Xavier. Now, UConn easily the best team in the conference. Questionably the best team in college basketball. What is there not to say about them? They average 81 points per game, the most in the Big East, of course. While Xavier, they average 76.4, so not bad, not too much of a difference there. But UConn they got great guard play. They know how to work it down low. Of course, coach is very experienced, so very smart. You gotta put that into consideration sometimes, you know, if your coach is that good. But like we said though, Xavier, if Quincy is playing well and he's hot, especially coming off of last round, I would not be surprised at all if Xavier came in and beat UConn. But it is tough to beat UConn at home, of course. College basketball and home courts, it is tough to beat anybody on the road. It really is. I don't know what it is about it, but it's insanely tough to beat anybody on the road. All of the top teams are near undefeated when they play at home. And UConn has continually played good against top-tier teams. But look, Xavier's not as top-tier of a team. So could we see an upset here? Something tells me if I pick Xavier, they're going to be out first round. So I'm going to take UConn. I'm going to trust them. They're going to put up too many points probably for Xavier to hold on. But I think Xavier puts up a good fight. Quincy, if he's hot coming off the last game, I definitely think he can do some. But I'm going to take UConn. Moving on round number 3. Okay, now we got two teams that are near the bubble right now. 2 teams fighting for a spot to go dancing in the March Madness tournament. Now, St. John's, they've averaged 78 points per game. Seton Hall, on the other hand, 73. So, a little bit of a margin there. A little bit of a margin if we're thinking points per game overall. That is a kind of big margin. Both teams are pretty hot right now. I believe St. John's won like their last 4 and... Actually, no, Seton Hall just lost their last game. Seton Hall was kind of hot, and then I believe they lost to UConn. But they were actually leading that game at one point, so... You cannot sleep on those kids. Obviously, Rick Pitino definitely taking care of them kids at St. John's. But, I mean, earlier press conferences, He really thinks his team, he showed off his true feelings. He doesn't think they're athletic at all, which is kind of surprising to hear a coach ever say that about you. I wouldn't want to play with him anymore. I'd be done. I'd be heading over to Seton Hall, balling out for them. But Joel Soriano is definitely the star of the team. He is their big man, kind of their big man. He's just their strongest player, I'd say, in the paint. He gets 9 rebounds a game, which is the highest in the Big East Conference. While Seton Hall doesn't have much going for him. They're kind of a more balanced team, more balanced squad. St. John's, pretty good defense, actually. They have 5.5 blocks per game as well, which is good, but you can't expect to get just blocks every single game. St. John's will be the home team, I believe. I believe they're the 4 seed. So you definitely got to put that into a factor. It's not tough to play in, I believe they play Madison Square Garden, unless they play, I believe that's where they play. Unless they play neutral spot, I don't know. Maybe they play neutral spots, I'm blanking right now. But St. John's definitely hot right now. But Seton Hall knows how to get it done. It's a tough one. It's really 2 similar close teams. Give me St. John's. I feel like I need more upsets, but I'm not going to force any upsets. Give me St. John's. Moving on to round 3. They'll be taking on UConn. All right, I'm going to do something you guys weren't expecting. I actually only have 1 upset. And look, it's bothering. It's really bothering me. So I'm going to take the Paul. I'm going to take the Paul over Villanova. I'll have them face Marquette. But right now, we got Creighton versus Providence. Now, it's just too good of a conference now. I have upsets, guys. It really is. So, got Creighton versus Providence. 2 teams that have been very up and down the season. They've been on roller coasters. Absolutely. But Creighton definitely can take down some of the top teams. But then other games, they'll go and lose to the worst squad you can think of. All right? So, it's really tough to get a read on them. But they're shooting well. They are shooting well. They got 10.7 threes per game. But if they're not knocking those down, they are going to have a long night against Providence. Providence, obviously, experienced squad. I think they'd be higher than a 7 seed if they weren't facing injuries earlier in the season. But, overall, definitely still a solid team. Creighton averages actually 80.8 points per game, which is the second. That's actually only 0.3 behind UConn, so just some pats on the back. That is some very, yes. Providence, on the other hand, we already said, I believe, they only average 72.8 per game. So definitely a big margin. But I think when did St. John's get in the equation, boys? I don't know. All right. But Providence, I believe they are probably more trustworthy down in the paint. But Creighton definitely can get it done. They got some tall men for sure. But it's going to come down to the guard play, I think. Is Creighton going to be smart enough with the ball? Voice track. Are they going to be smart enough with the ball to just give it down low, feed it down low? I feel like not enough teams do that. Kind of like how Purdue does it. They feed Zach Edey a lot, while they also hit threes because they're just that talented. They're that talented, and just, there's not many teams like them right now. Creighton could be similar, but they don't play it smart. That's my problem with them. But we know if they're knocking down those threes, they are going to be having a fun time wherever they play. All right, at home. So it's a tough one, very tough game to pick. I think it's going to be a close one heading second half. I think it's going to stay a close one. Seeing about 8 minutes left. Ooh, okay, Creighton should have 3. Got a 5-point lead. Kind of extended. Providence kind of tries to come back. But Creighton takes it home. We're going to take Creighton moving on to the next round. Round number 3, they'll be joining St. John's and UConn. All right, now we got a surprisingly struggling Marquette team that still, of course, got their bye. They're still the 3 seed in the Big East, but they have really been struggling. Obviously, Tyler Kolek is injured, which I believe he's getting reevaluated, but I don't know if he's going to play. It just feels like he might not, but maybe he'll push through. I don't know. But I really feel like they're going to need him. Marquette averages 79.2, but obviously that has not been going on the last couple games. DePaul, we already know, they only average 65. Sorry, I just put my finger in your guys' face. But they only average 65 points per game, which it's really rough to expect to only score 65 points per game and make it this far. But they got a good defense, so if their defense can kind of just hold on and keep up with Marquette, and then out of nowhere their offense has a great game. I like defensive teams for sure. Defense wins championships 100%. And I just realized DePaul's got the highest assists. They have the highest number of assists per game. I can't talk right now, fellas. I don't know what's going on. Probably nervous. I don't want to go 0-8 again, which I'm really scared if that's happening right now. But DePaul definitely, it's tough to trust that kind of squad. But sometimes, the game's not played on paper. That's my only thing I gotta say with picking them in the first round. The game is not played on paper at all, so you never know who's gonna win these games. But taking on Marquette is a very tough challenge, so I don't know if I can take them. Am I really gonna go 1, 2, 3, and Bowdy? I don't know. Do we take the 11 to move on? Cinderella run in the Big East. I could definitely see a close game too, but I don't know if they can handle the Marquette Golden Eagles. I don't know if Shaka Smart is going to be that type of guy to just lose to DePaul. Let's have some fun with it. Give me DePaul. Moving on. Round 3 in the Big East tournament. Let's move on. We got UConn St. John. All right, now round number 3, fellas. We got the 1 seed UConn versus the 4 seed St. John's. All right, fellas. Now UConn true shooting percentage 81.1. Beautiful. You can't stop it. They're a great shooting team. But St. John's, they have the fourth most points per game in the Big East, but they are 8th in true shooting percentage. Oh my God, I can't talk. They are 8th in true shooting percentage. 78.1, so still not too big of a gap. St. John's, they obviously, like I said, Joel Soriano is the yumtastic rebounder. Has the most rebounds per game in the Big East, so that's a big thing. Obviously, like I told you guys, I love rebounders. But I don't know, man. This could be a defensive battle, or it could come down to not a defensive battle, but whose defense is going to step up to the plate. Now, we've seen UConn do this time and time again, but there were a few games where they struggled on defense. They had to kind of rely on the offense. St. John's, on the other hand, I feel like their offense didn't meet up to the expectations, and their defense kind of had to save them. So, this is tough, man. This is tough. I don't know, man. UConn has the highest field goal percentage as well in the Big East, so they can knock down their shots. I'm going to take UConn. They knock down their shots. Great defense. You can feed down low whenever you want, but great guard play. I think it's going to move them on to the finals of the Big East tournament. Now we got kind of an unexpected matchup in my bracket here. We got Creighton versus DePaul. Now Creighton, they got Mason Miller. He has the highest true shooting percentage in the Big East, 70.2. That is absurd, fellas. He is insane. While they also got, I believe, the biggest blocker in the game, Ryan Cockburner. the best blocker in the game, Ryan Cockburner. Now look, you don't want to mess with that, fellas. Creighton is an absolute good squad. You know, they can feed it down low to Ryan. I love having a good big man on my team as well. I like tasty big men. Down low to feed the ball to. But you got to have good guard play too, which we know Creighton absolutely does. They've struggled a little bit throughout the season sometimes, but if they're hot, they can easily put up near 100 points. While DePaul, if you guys don't know, I don't think they can do that. They average 65 points per game. So defense could come into play, but I don't think they're gonna stop the Creighton offense. We're not gonna take you guys too long in this one. We're gonna move Creighton on to the final round, facing off UConn. Let's get it. Now we got the finals: UConn versus Creighton. Now these teams, they've played each other twice this season. Creighton actually took the first one home, 85-66. That just shows you Creighton's offense can take over, but if their offense isn't working out, it showed the other game. UConn won 62-48. They only put up 48 points. So this one's going to come down to kind of whose offense is going to be playing well that night. But it's kind of surprising seeing UConn being held to 66-62. That shows a lot coming out of Creighton's defense that I was not expecting to see. Now, obviously, Ryan Cockburner has been cooking defensive-wise, and they got great guard play in Trey Alexander, Mason Miller, and they can pop that 3-ball, son. All right, they can hit shots all night long. So they got some trustworthy players down there. Obviously, UConn, I mean, they were literally the 1 seed in the world for a reason. Because this team averages literally the most points per game in the Big East, but for some reason, Creighton's defense has had their number. But on the other hand, UConn's defense is good stuff. I'd say UConn's defense, despite Ryan being possibly the best defender in the Big East, I think UConn's definitely got the more balanced and better defense. Definitely a more balanced team, more depth on the squad. You can trust their shooting. Like I said, they got the highest true shooting percentage, 49.2. So it really could go either way. Both teams have to be hot heading into this game, but I think it could be really difficult to stop a Creighton team that's got the ball rolling and moving. So, that being said, we're going to take the Creighton Blue Jays to take down UConn Huskies in the final championship round. Let me give you guys a little score. I'm gonna say the offense shows up. Let's go 82-76. 82-76, give me Creighton to take down UConn in the Big East tournament. If you guys have liked this video, make sure to leave a like down below. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any more bangers. A bunch of March Madness content comes soon, including more conference predictions. I'll see you guys in the next one.